On July 25th, 2011, 21-year-old young father was driving with his daughter. He was facing a battle in his mind. He just wanted to give up the custody of his baby girl.
911, where's your emergency?
The father of our child took our daughter, and I don't know where he's at with her. She's my daughter. He has no legal rights over her.
But this demonic battle tempted him to take such despicable step that it claimed the life of his baby girl and shocked the entire nation of the United States.
Another huge case in court today. Sean Phillips was just sentenced in Ludington for killing his own daughter, baby Kate.
Welcome back to my channel. While I don't have many followers, but every single comment from you is a ray of hope that keeps me going. Sean Phillips, unable to face his parents with the news of another child, went with his partner, Ariel, and their infant daughter, Kate, to DHS to put her up for adoption. During the trip, a violent argument ensued. Ignoring Ariel's pleas, Sean drove off with Kate still in the car seat. In a moment of frustration, Sean forcibly removed the car seat, causing fatal injuries to Kate. Instead of seeking help, he abandoned her body. After the incident, Sean was arrested and brought in for interrogation. Today, we will focus on the psychological aspects of Sean Phillips' interrogation.
Sean, are you employed any place right now?
Been laid off for quite a while. I'm seeking work, but
Okay.
in Army National Guard.
Okay, so you're in the Army National Guard. All right. And how long you been with the National Guard?
Close to 4 years.
Okay, 4 years. Did you do any active time?
I'm supposed to deploy in August.
Okay. All right. You were never active Army, you've always been National Guard?
Yes, always National Guard.
Okay. Have you ever been deployed before?
No.
You've never been deployed?
No.
In the beginning, the detectives employed a calm and somewhat conversational tone. They asked basic questions about Sean's personal life, his work, and his background in the military. This is a classic rapport-building technique.
How's your relationship with Good?
Oh, that's very good.
Okay. You enjoy being with her and things?
Yes, no, I'm laid off. I'm always with her generally.
Okay.
So just,
So would you say your relationship is pretty close to you?
yes.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about Catherine. What's the situation right now with you and Ariel and Catherine? What's that all about?
Well,
I mean, let me start this way. What is she claiming in regards to Catherine?
legally, she's claiming it's mine.
Okay.
It's-
As the interrogation continued, the detective shifted tactics. He subtly isolated Sean from the reality of his situation by asking about his past relationship with Ariel and the child. By focusing on contradictions or gaps in Sean's statements, the detective introduced cognitive dissonance, which refers to the discomfort people feel when their actions conflict with their beliefs or attitudes.
Filed some paperwork.
She says it wasn't her that did it, but I don't believe that.
Okay. And that was for some type of paternity test type
It
thing,
was
or?
come in, sign the paperwork, decline that you think it is, and
Okay.
opt for the paternity test.
Opt for the paternity. And did
Which-
you do that then?
I had to do that today at 12.
Okay.
Actually did it a little bit earlier than 12.
Okay, so you did have your paternity test today?
Yes.
Okay. Where did you have to go for that?
That was the laboratory in the hospital here in Ludington.
Did they give you any results of that or anything?
It was a mouth swab on both sides, and then
They'll get back with you or
a lot of
whatever?
paperwork. I'm guessing I'll just get something in the mail.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't know if they actually do it there, because the paperwork kind of said it was sent.
Send someplace for the testing part?
Right.
Okay.
The detective shifts focus to the paternity test, a crucial part of Sean's emotional detachment. By discussing the test in a matter-of-fact way, the detective subtly manipulates Sean into confronting his own uncertainty about his fatherhood. This creates psychological pressure, as Sean is forced to reconcile his actions with the uncertainty he expresses. The calm tone of the detective is essential here, as it contrasts with the emotional tension building in Sean. The detective's strategy is to provoke internal conflict in Sean, forcing him to face his denial about being Kate's father, which can trigger guilt or defensiveness.
So as far as you know, Catherine's not your child?
It's
Or at
not-
least you believe this?
It's not impossible, but I find it hard to believe. It'd be quite a surprise to me.
Okay. All right.
Phillips left before taking the test, and Cortland was always sure that Kate was his child. If he truly did not believe her, a simple test early on would have spared him the time and expense of custody. By taking on that responsibility, he signaled that, at least on a subconscious level, he knew he was the father.
But definitely your child. You believe
damn well better be.
Did you ever go through any kind of paternity test with it?
No, I signed the paperwork. I was there when she was born. And
okay. All right.
We weren't ever dating during her pregnancy, but
okay.
I don't have any doubt that she's not mine.
Okay, good.
The detective continues the interrogation with a calm, non-confrontational approach, which is a classic rapport-building tactic. This tactic is designed to lower Sean's defenses, making him feel more at ease and thus more likely to open up. By speaking about neutral topics like Sean's relationship with Ariel and the paternity of his daughter, the detective creates a relaxed atmosphere that allows Sean to speak freely. However, the detective subtly draws out inconsistencies in Sean's story. This inconsistency creates a form of cognitive dissonance, the discomfort that arises when a person's actions or beliefs are in conflict. By highlighting these contradictions without direct confrontation, the detective forces Sean to grapple with his own thoughts and beliefs, setting the stage for a more emotionally charged conversation later on.
She wanted me to come in about some paperwork or something or other for enrollment in school.
Okay.
Second time this has come up, but nothing came of it when I actually was there. But I spent probably a couple hours just ranting about all the nonsense and games she's been playing all week to my mother, and set up a sprinkler outside and just kind of was around the house all morning. Then probably around 11 or a little after, 11 to 11:30, I left to go to that appointment at the hospital for testing.
Okay.
I got to get through that a little bit earlier than the scheduled time, so then I headed over to her apartment to do the supposed paperwork or whatever it was. But
The detective used silence strategically, allowing Sean to fill the gaps in conversation with his own thoughts. This is a psychological tactic that plays on human discomfort with silence. In the context of an interrogation, silence can cause the suspect to feel increasing pressure to fill the void, often leading to confessions or contradictory statements.
Before we ask you any questions, you must understand your rights. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that?
yes,
Okay. Anything you say can and will be used against you in court. Do you understand that?
yes,
Okay. If you have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions and have him with you during questionings. Do you understand that?
yes,
Okay. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. You understand that?
yes,
Okay. If you decide to answer the questions now without a lawyer present, you will still have the right to stop answering at any time. You also have the right to stop answering any time until you've talked with your lawyer. You understand that? Basically what that means is that at any time that we're talking here today, okay, if you say, listen, I don't want to answer that question, okay, we'll move on.
Okay.
Or I don't want to talk about it, we'll move on. Okay?
The detective begins by calmly reading Sean his rights, ensuring that Sean understands he can stop at any point if he wishes. This is a psychological tactic to make Sean feel in control, while subtly reinforcing that everything he says could be used against him. The calm tone helps create a false sense of security, lowering Sean's defenses and making him more likely to open up.
Okay. All right. Sean, I kind of just want to take you back a little bit. You had mentioned to me earlier that you had this paternity test thing going on, right? And what time was it again that you thought you went over to the hospital for that?
showed up early. Scheduled time was 12, but I'm pretty sure I got done with it before.
The detective's subtle questioning about the paternity test is a calculated move to get Sean to confront his emotional detachment. By asking him how he felt about taking the test, the detective encourages Sean to explore his feelings of frustration and anger. This psychological tactic is aimed at breaking down Sean's resistance and revealing underlying emotions that might lead to a confession.
How did that make you feel when you had to go in there and do that?
I don't really have any feelings.
Okay.
It's kind of awkward having someone swallow around my mouth.
Right. Were you upset that you even had to do this, though?
I was upset when I got the thing in the mail, but
You had time to process it from that point?
yeah, because then it just went against everything she said, and then
Right.
of course when I called, she said, "Oh, it's just they're putting two and two together that we already have a kid in common. It's not me." So
Right, right.
um,
Okay. And then you said that you guys were arguing a lot when you got over there today, when you got over to Ariel's. Is that correct?
yes,
And you said, you kind of alluded to the fact that you were kind of arguing about this holiday weekend and some stuff like that. Was there some other things that you were arguing about?
As Sean discusses the tension with Ariel, the detective takes advantage of his emotional state. By encouraging Sean to describe their arguments and frustrations, the detective is using cognitive dissonance, making Sean confront the inconsistencies between his behavior and what he claims to feel. The detective's calm demeanor contrasts with Sean's rising frustration, subtly increasing the pressure for him to admit his role in the situation.
about her parenting, my parenting,
Okay.
things that we've done or said before. Just
Okay.
we usually argue quite often, almost all of our
Right.
whenever we're around each other. But
How do you feel, because you had mentioned to me, how do you feel, you said that Ariel had been talking about wanting to put Catherine up for adoption and stuff like that. And if in fact, okay, this paternity test comes back and let's say Catherine is yours, okay, how would you feel about the adoption? Do you feel like that's a viable option?
The detective focuses on Sean's opinion of the adoption, carefully probing how he feels about Kate being his child. By bringing up the possibility of adoption, the detective is manipulating Sean into revealing deeper emotions about his unwillingness to take responsibility. This psychological tactic pushes Sean towards self-reflection, making him more likely to admit that he never wanted the responsibility of being Kate's father.
it's been hell. Well, basically raised this kid by myself. But she's in the picture. It's not even really a functional thing, so I wouldn't.
Right.
Plus, I haven't even really been in his life so far, so
Right.
I don't really think that she's capable of parenting, so
Okay.
or even.
So would it be a
coming
fair
close, so-
statement, would it be a fair statement then that if this was Catherine's, this would definitely be a financial burden for you and a time commitment burden?
Yes.
I mean, having another child. Would that be a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. And the reason why I ask you that is I'm just trying to get a feeling for, where you're at here, and I understand that, I mean, I've raised children myself, okay? I have 3 children, okay? 2 of them are grown up.
The detective makes a calculated move by empathizing with Sean, comparing his own parenting experience to Sean's situation. This tactic is designed to soften Sean's emotional defenses, making him feel understood and more willing to open up. The detective subtly frames Sean's reluctance to parent as understandable, which encourages Sean to discuss his feelings more honestly.
Well, parenting is not easy. Yeah, I think parenting is probably one of the toughest things I've ever had to do in my life. And I have a pretty tough job. You have a tough job being in the military. I understand that. It can be stressful, especially under the circumstances of that you're going to be deployed, knowing that you have a child here that you love and care for, and that you need to provide for that child, in the sense of and correct me if I'm wrong here, but as a father of my own children, I feel a huge responsibility to my children.
The detective's use of personal experience and empathy continues as he compares parenting to his own life. This is a tactic to build rapport and make Sean feel as though the detective understands the burden of parenting. By emphasizing that raising a child is a 24/7 responsibility, the detective is attempting to make Sean question his emotional detachment and the possible consequences of rejecting his daughter.
It's a huge responsibility, and it never goes away. It's not like a job where I go and I put my 8 hours in, stamping parts, doing whatever I'm doing, okay? And I go home and I'm done. The child is 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year, you know? And so, you know, I understand that. And again, like I said before, it's real important that you be honest with me, because the next couple of questions that I have for you are going to be important, okay? Because obviously this is a serious situation. I mean, you understand that, right?
Yes.
I mean, we have a 5-month-old baby that we don't know where she's at, okay? And like I said, my number one concern right now is Catherine, okay?
The detective begins to apply more direct psychological pressure by confronting Sean with the reality of the situation, by stating, "I'm very concerned about Catherine." The detective is manipulating Sean's guilt, forcing him to confront the seriousness of the situation. The detective's calmness is a stark contrast to the tension building within Sean, making him feel more emotionally vulnerable and more likely to break down.
And do you know where Catherine is at?
Usually, Ariel's been known to play quite strange games like this, or, well, not like this. This is by far the farthest anything's ever gone.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually just been like hiding it from me, like with someone she knows, or not giving her back, or I think she even once sold me her phone and then reported stolen around the time that we were about to go into court. So
Right.
just
Well,
try to get some.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and I can understand, you know, I understand all that, Sean. I understand, you know, with these types of relationships, little games get played. You know, games like taking somebody's cell phone or, you know, those kinds of things. I totally understand that, but we got a lot different situation here right now. We're talking about a human being.
Yes.
We're talking about a 5-month-old girl that cannot care for herself. Okay? She cannot care for herself. She needs somebody to care for her. Okay?
At this point, the detective escalates the emotional manipulation, appealing to Sean's moral conscience. The comparison between games like phone manipulation and the life of an innocent child emphasizes the gravity of the situation. This tactic makes Sean confront the emotional weight of his actions and creates a sense of urgency that pushes him closer to the truth.
I asked you the question, do you know where Catherine's at? And you never really answered that question. You just told me that, well, Ariel does this and Ariel does that.
Oh.
Okay?
What I was getting at is, I'm guessing she just has her with a friend or someone she knows.
Okay.
I only know of 2 of the people she uses for babysitters, but,
Okay.
well, 3.
All right.
But
So what you're telling me right now is that you have no idea where Catherine is.
I know she knows, but I have no
I'm not
way.
asking you that.
I have no way of
I'm not
knowing
asking you
myself.
that, okay, Sean? I'm not asking you that. I'm asking you a specific question. Do you know where Catherine is right now?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right.
The detective's final push comes when he directly confronts Sean about not knowing where Kate is. By questioning Sean repeatedly and catching him in contradictions, the detective aims to break down Sean's emotional resistance. The psychological pressure is now at its peak, and Sean's emotional detachment is starting to crack. The detective knows that it's only a matter of time before Sean admits to what happened to Kate.
Did you have a conversation with Ariel about taking Catherine to DHS, okay, and making arrangements for DHS to put her up for adoption?
Yes.
Okay. That conversation happened today?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why I had driven her to DHS.
Okay. So you knew the purpose for which you went to DHS?
She never got out or anything, but I knew that's what the purpose was, as she had stated, for
Okay.
going over there.
But you asked her specifically, right, for you and her to take the baby to DHS And let's see if we can.
No, she said when I got there that she already had it set up to be done today,
Okay.
and she just wanted me to give her a ride there. Because she doesn't really walk anywhere even if it's 2 blocks.
Okay.
The detective begins to build rapport by acknowledging Sean's fears and frustrations. He validates Sean's concerns about the responsibility of parenthood and the ongoing struggles with Ariel. This tactic helps lower Sean's guard and positions the detective as someone who understands his emotional turmoil, all while subtly encouraging him to reflect on his actions.
That Ariel wants you, okay? And she wants to stay close to you, and she wants to keep you under her thumb, whatever you want to call it, spell, whatever it is, okay? And she's willing to go to whatever lengths it is, you don't get pregnant, and all this kind of stuff, okay? Now, for you, that's upsetting, okay? I mean, granted, if Catherine's your kid, so be it. But you don't believe that that's the case, okay? I believe that today there was an argument that went about where you were trying to persuade her, okay, to do the adoption. Because I believe that that's what's best. And I think that you know that's what's best for Catherine. If it's my kid or not my kid, I mean, there's got to be a little bit of inkling there of compassion for Catherine.
As the detective speaks about adoption, he subtly manipulates Sean's emotions, suggesting that giving Kate up for adoption is the right decision. This appeal to reason is designed to reduce Sean's emotional resistance, subtly pushing him to admit that he knew the right thing to do, even though he resisted it. The detective creates a sense of moral clarity by focusing on what's best for Catherine.
What Catherine's going to have to go through, because you're already seeing it,
Yes.
right? I mean, you're already seeing having to go through this pulling and tugging going on, okay? That obviously upsets you because you spent the majority of our time together here today talking about the effects that it's made on you. Maybe not in direct form, but everything you've said, what I've got from it is that the whole relationship between you and Ariel involving has been a struggle at best, okay? And now there's a possibility of another child going into this whole thing, okay? You've been painted into a corner with this whole thing, getting the paperwork from the prosecutor's office, okay? Making you take this paternity test, okay?
The detective continues to apply psychological pressure by describing Ariel's behavior in a negative light, portraying her as irrational and manipulative. By making Ariel the villain, the detective encourages Sean to distance himself from her actions and see himself as a victim in the situation. This builds emotional separation, making it easier for Sean to admit to his own role in the tragedy.
I believe that you told Ariel, don't take the test, okay? Let's just go to DHS. Let's make it right for Catherine, okay? Let's make it right for Catherine. Let's put Catherine in a place where we know that she's going to be taken care of, okay? And somebody good's going to be able to raise her, and we're not going to have all this turmoil. I understand that. And I think that's what happened today, okay? That's my belief what happened. I don't know why you don't want to tell me that, okay? But sitting here listening to you, okay, I know you're young. You're in the military, and you think you can handle it all. But this stuff is stressful. It's some stressful shit.
Right.
And I think that you're trying to see clearly through this thing, okay? You're trying to see clearly through this, that what's the best option here? Not only for myself, but for Catherine.
The detective appeals to Sean's sense of guilt by emphasizing that Catherine, as an innocent child, needs to be taken care of. The detective's tone shifts from understanding to more direct confrontation, calling on Sean's moral responsibility to do the right thing. This shift aims to increase Sean's psychological discomfort, pushing him toward admitting what happened to Kate.
I'm right here, sitting with Ariel, arguing over the same shit that I've been arguing with her about for the last 3 years of my life, probably before they even were born, okay? The same shit, okay? And you got pissed. I don't blame you. You got madder than hell. I know you did. I know you were pissed, okay? And you know what? I would be too. Because here I am trying to deal with somebody that's not even reasonable. Not even reasonable. I mean, I can't even talk to this freaking woman, okay? And now I'm going to be possibly strapped with having another child with her, okay? And I've already got a bag full of nightmares, okay, in dealing with her. And I can see this is going right down the same road again. Right? I'm going right down the same damn road with her. You know what? I don't want to do it. And you were pissed. And you were angry. And you were mad. Okay?
As the interrogation progressed, the detective started using empathetic language. He acknowledged Sean's situation, even going so far as to say, "I understand how tough things must have been." This is part of a technique called minimization, where the interrogator downplays the severity of the suspect's actions in order to make them feel less threatened and more likely to cooperate.
And I understand that. I understand you were pissed, okay? I would be too. Because here I go again. Fucking Ariel, okay? And you were pissed. And you drove out of that parking lot with Catherine in the back seat of your car, okay? The question is now for you, okay, is that are you going to do the right thing or are you going to do the wrong thing? The right thing is to tell me where Catherine is, okay? That's the right thing for Catherine, no matter what's happened, okay? Whether or not Catherine's alive, whether or not Catherine's dead, or whether or not you know whether or not Catherine is dead or alive right now. Because she's obviously not here, and she's not with us. But she's somewhere, and you know where she's at.
At critical moments, the detective confronted Sean with the harsh reality of his actions. These confrontational tactics are meant to break down a suspect's defenses and push them toward the truth. The detective started highlighting the inconsistencies in Sean's statements about his relationship with Ariel and the circumstances leading to Kate's death.
I need to know where she's at, okay? So I can go take care